All right, the goal for today is to give you a quick rundown of volume. We will spend more time on this after state testing, but it is included on your state test. So today we're just going to expose you to it. Volume is how we calculate what a shape could hold potentially. So it's calculated in cubic units. So I like to think of that almost like little square ice cubes. How many would fill up a shape, basically. The three shapes we focus on in 8th grade are cylinder, cones, and spheres. And they all have a circle base. So that's why at the very top here, we're recalling that area of a circle is pi r squared. So we hope that you know this, that you've seen this before. That's area of a circle. And that's going to come into play when we're finding these volumes. We also want to remind you that radius is halfway across a circle. So radius would be from the center to the edge, and diameter is all the way across a circle. From one edge to another going through the center. So if they give you diameter but you need radius, you have to remember to divide by 2. Okay, so lots of good reminders at the top there that we hope you already know. So let's look at volume of a cylinder first. They will give you a formula sheet for the state test. The formula that is on that formula sheet is volume equals capital B times height. This capital B stands for area of the base. Now we have circle bases for these shapes, so really it's pi r squared times height, okay? But we want to give it to you the way you'll see it on the state test, which is volume equals area of the base times height. So we have to recall that area of our base is pi r squared. So if I have this circle here, my radius is 25. So I would have pi times 25 squared. So that's my capital B, my area of the base, and then times my height of 40. Okay? So at this point, I'm just going to type that into a calculator. So let me pull one up. All right, so our pi key is right here. It's in red on our screen right now. Then we want 25 squared times 40. And it's going to give you an answer in exact form, similar to when we did square roots. We want rounded form, so we're going to hit our toggle button right above so we can get that decimal. And we're going to go ahead and round to 2 decimal places, the nearest hundredths place. So this is 78,539 and 82 hundredths. So 78,529 and 39 and 82 hundredths. Okay, and then that's cubic inches, okay? 1 inch size ice cubes, it would take over 78,000 to fill that up, okay? Here we have to be careful because they gave us a diameter. Okay, all 3 of these questions are cylinders, so that's all going to be the same process, but you have to make sure you're using radius when you calculate the area of your base. So area of my base here, half of 4 is 2. My radius is 2. So area of my base is pi r squared, and then we have to multiply by height. So this is what I'm going to type into my calculator. All right, pi 2 squared times 15 188.50 is what we'd run that up to. Okay, so 188.50 cubic centimeters. Okay, last one, this time it gave us radius, so that's fine, nothing new there. So my radius is 2, so this is my pi r squared, and then we have to multiply by height. Okay, so again, we'll just type that into our calculator. Pi 2 squared times 4. So if it gives you exact form, we hit our toggle button, 50.27. Cubic centimeters. Okay, so there's cylinders. Second shape are cones. Cones are almost the exact same process, but we're multiplying by 1/3 at the beginning, because if you had a cylinder and a cone that were the same dimensions, the same radius and height, you could be able to put 3 cones inside of 1 cylinder. So that's what that says here. 3 cones fit in 1 cylinder, meaning I'm going to take that same formula, but just take it times a third. Or you could divide it by 3. But we're going to take it times a third because, again, this is going to be the formula you're going to see on that formula sheet. For a cone, capital B stands for area of that base, which is your pi r squared again. So for this first cone, they gave me a radius, so that's good. I don't need to divide by 2 or anything there. So I'm going to do 1/3 pi r squared, so that's 3 squared times my height of 11. Okay, so then we're going to put that in our calculator. So I'm going to start with my 1/3, but the rest is the same. We're going to do pi 3 squared times 11. And then toggle button, 103.67 for this one. Cubic centimeters. Okay. All right. Next cone, same process, just different numbers. So I have pi r squared. My 1/3 is in front. My area of the base is pi r squared, so pi 5 squared, and my height is 9. And then I'll plug that in. So 1/3 pi, what was it? 5 squared times 9. $235.62. Cubic inches. Okay, and then last one, again, it gave us radius, so there's nothing we need to divide by 2 there, that's fine. So 1/3, area of my base is pi r squared, and my height is 7. So I'll type that in. $65.97 for that one. All right, one more shape. This time we're looking at spheres, and they actually just give you the full formula on this one because there's not really a true height in a sphere because it's rounded on all sides. There's no straight up and down sides. So this one's 4/3 pi r cubed, so it's the only one that's not squared, so watch out for that as well. But we're just going to plug in radius and then use our calculator for the rest. So again, you got to make sure that you're using radius and not diameter. So on this first one, they give us diameter. It's all the way across. So if I take 6 divided by 2, that would give me 3. So for my formula, I would have 4/3 pi 3 cubed. Okay, so I'm going to use my fraction button again. 4/3 pi 3 to the 3rd power. Then toggle 113.10. That would round up to. Cubic meters. All right, this one is radius, so we don't need to divide it by 2. We're just going to plug it into our formula. So 4/3 pi 9 cubed. $3,053.63. Cubic centimeters. All right, last one. Again, this is a diameter, so we need to divide by 2 to get that radius. So we're going to use 14 for our radius. 28 divided by 2 is 14. So 4/3 pi 14 cubed. $11,494.04. Cubic centimeters. Okay, so there's your 3 shapes that you're expected to know for your state test. And again, we'll do a whole unit after testing on this as well. You only be able to recognize these 4 formulas. So they don't label them for you. So the formula sheet that's available to you that we'll have printed for you is a whole bunch of formulas. So like area of a circle is on there. All 3 of these volume formulas are on there, but you have to be able to recognize them. So you don't have to have them memorized, but we expect you to be able to tell which is which. So we're going to match these real quick. And if you want to pause and try it on your own and then unpause to check, that would be a good idea. But you have to be able to match which is which. So if we recall, the one with 1/3 is going to be a cone, right? Because 3 cones fit inside a cylinder. So this very first one with the 1/3 area of the base times height, I know that that one's a cone. Okay, pi r squared, we hope you know by heart, at this age is area of a circle. And then 4/3 pi r cubed, the sphere is the only one without a height because it's round like a ball, and then that leaves this one for volume of cylinder. So they're all listed for you and given to you on that formula sheet, but they're not labeled, if that makes sense. All right, so go ahead and move on to your Delta Math. Hopefully you can get that wrapped up today, and then you'll be well prepared for that state test.